Commander Olivia Winters stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, her eyes fixed on the approaching alien ship. It was the third delegation to arrive this week. The sleek vessel gleamed against the blackness of space, its hull decorated with the intricate patterns that marked all Vraxian ships. "Another one," she muttered, her fingers tightening around the railing. Behind her, Officer Ramos checked the scanners. "Standard diplomatic configuration, Commander. They're requesting permission to dock." Olivia nodded but didn't speak. 20 years had passed since humanity discovered they weren't alone in the universe. 20 years of being the new kids in a neighborhood that had been established for thousands of years. 20 years of being pushed around. "Let them know they can dock in Bay 4, she finally said. "And call Admiral Garrison. He'll want to know they're early." As Officer Ramos relayed the message, Olivia walked to the observation window. Earth hung below them, blue and green and beautiful. From up here, you couldn't see how the planet had changed. You couldn't see the massive mining operations the Vraxians had established in Africa and South America. You couldn't see the research stations where alien scientists studied humans like lab rats. You couldn't see how each agreement signed with the Galactic Council left Earth with less and gave humanity nothing in return. Her comm device beeped. "Winters here," she answered. "Commander, it's Admiral Garrison. I'm on my way up. Don't let those scaly bastards board until I get there." "Yes, sir." Olivia turned to Ramos. "Tell the Vraxians we're experiencing technical difficulties with the docking bay. It'll be 30 minutes. While they waited, Olivia reviewed the latest reports from Earth's colonies on Mars and Europa. Resources were running low. The quotas demanded by the Galactic Council grew larger every year. Humanity was being bled dry, and everyone knew it. Admiral Frank Garrison arrived 15 minutes later. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes that had seen too much. "What do they want this time?" he asked without greeting. "They haven't said, sir. They never do until they're face to face. Makes it harder to say no when they can read your expressions." He straightened his uniform. "Let's get this over with." Together, they walked to the diplomatic chamber. The room was designed to impress, with Earth's flags and military accomplishments displayed prominently. It didn't matter. The aliens were never impressed. The Vraxian delegation entered, 3 tall, scaled beings with multiple eyes and limbs that moved too smoothly to be natural. Their translator devices hung at their throats, pulsing with light. "Greetings, representatives of Earth," the lead Vraxian said. His name was Ambassador Krull, and he had been negotiating with humans for over a decade. "The Galactic Council sends its regards." "What can we do for you, Ambassador?" Admiral Garrison asked, not bothering with pleasantries. "The Council has reviewed the resource quotas for your system," Krull said. "We find them insufficient for galactic needs. The mineral exports from your Mars colony will increase by 40%, effective immediately. Additionally, the Council requires new protection fees for the shipping lanes near Jupiter." Olivia felt her face grow hot with anger. Mars was already struggling to meet current quotas. "That's impossible," she said before the Admiral could speak. "Mars will be stripped bare in 5 years at that rate." Krull's eyes blinked in different directions, a sign of dismissal. "Your mining techniques are inefficient. The Council can provide advisors to improve your operations. More advisors who will take more of our resources," Admiral Garrison said flatly. "The Council's decision is final," Krull replied. "The documents require your signature today." Something inside Olivia snapped. 20 years of watching Earth bow and scrape to these creatures. 20 years of unfair treaties and broken promises. "Admiral," she said quietly, "I request permission to call an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Coalition." Garrison looked at her with surprise, then understanding dawned in his eyes. "On what grounds, Commander?" "I believe it's time we discussed our position in the Galactic Council." She looked directly at Krull. "All aspects of our position." The Vraxian's scales rippled, a sign of anger or concern. Humans had never been sure which. Admiral Garrison nodded slowly. Permission granted, Commander. Ambassador Kroll, you'll have our answer tomorrow. As the aliens left, Olivia felt a strange lightness. For the first time in years, she had hope. Perhaps humanity had been patient long enough. Perhaps it was time to say stop. The underground facility beneath Washington, D.C. had been built for emergencies. Its walls were thick concrete, reinforced with materials reverse-engineered from alien technology. No signals could get in or out without passing through multiple security layers. It was the perfect place for humanity to plan its rebellion. Dr. Samantha Kelly arrived first, carrying a tablet filled with data that few people on Earth had seen. She was tired after the long flight from her research facility in Nevada, but her eyes were bright with purpose. As Earth's leading physicist on alien technology, she had spent years secretly studying the gifts the Vraxians had given humanity. Dr. Kelly, thank you for coming on such short notice, said President Henry Crawford of the Earth Defense Coalition. He was a small man with a kind face that masked a sharp mind. Commander Winters speaks highly of your work. The commander is right to be concerned, Samantha replied. What I have to show you can't wait. They were joined by retired General Nancy Wright, a woman whose stern face had appeared on recruitment posters for decades, and Lieutenant Gregory Mason, whose intelligence work had taken him to a dozen alien worlds under various covers. Commander Winters and Admiral Garrison arrived last, still wearing their space station uniforms. Now that we're all here, President Crawford began. Commander Winters has requested this emergency meeting. Commander, Olivia stood. For 20 years, we've played by their rules. We've given them our resources, our land, even access to our people for their cultural studies. And what have we gotten in return? Technology that barely works. Protection from threats that never materialize. It's time we recognize the truth. Earth is being farmed. The room was silent. Everyone present had harbored the same suspicion, but saying it aloud felt different. Dr. Kelly connected her tablet to the room's display system. I've been analyzing the technology the Vraxians have shared with us. It's deliberately flawed. She showed schematics of engines, power systems, and weapons. They give us just enough to make us dependent on them, but never enough to become truly self-sufficient. We've suspected as much. Admiral Garrison said, but without proof. I have proof now, Samantha interrupted. She displayed a series of graphs. These show the efficiency of their systems compared to what they could be. Everything they've given us operates at less than half capacity, with built-in failure points. Lieutenant Mason stood next. There's more. I've made contact with representatives from other young species, the Norans, the Trell, and the Fays. They're all being exploited the same way we are. The Vraxians have been doing this for thousands of years, finding developing civilizations, bringing them into the Galactic Council, then slowly draining them of resources. President Crawford looked troubled. Even if all this is true, what can we do? The Vraxian fleet alone has more firepower than all of Earth's defenses combined. General Wright smiled for the first time. That's what they think. She activated her own display. For the past 5 years, I've been overseeing the secret program. Using Dr. Kelly's genuine research, we've been building our own ships and weapons. Real ones, not the toys the Vraxians think we have. Images appeared on screen. Massive ships hidden in asteroid belts, weapon platforms disguised as mining operations, fighters that could outmaneuver anything in the Vraxian fleet. How did you keep this hidden from them? Crawford asked, amazed. Their own arrogance, Wright replied. They never thought we could understand their technology well enough to improve it. They don't monitor their mining operations closely because they think we're just dumb labor. We built our fleet right under their noses, using materials they thought were being sent to them. Olivia felt hope rising in her chest. So we can fight back. We can, Wright agreed, but we need to be smart about it. A direct confrontation would still end badly for Earth. Lieutenant Mason nodded. That's where my contacts come in. If we coordinate with the other exploited species, we could strike simultaneously. The Council wouldn't be able to respond to all of us at once. President Crawford paced the room, thinking, "This is dangerous. If we fail, the Vraxians won't show mercy. And if we do nothing," Admiral Garrison asked, "how long before Earth has nothing left to give? How long before humans are working as slaves in Vraxian mines across the galaxy?" The room fell silent again. "We need to send a message," Olivia said. "A diplomatic mission with our demands. If they refuse, then we act." Crawford looked at each person in the room, then slowly nodded. "Very well. Ambassador Daniel Perkins will lead the mission. Commander Winters, you'll accompany him. The Vraxians respect military presence. Dr. Kelly, prepare your evidence. If we're doing this, we need to show the entire galaxy what's been happening." As the meeting ended, Olivia caught Samantha's eye. Both women knew that history was about to change, and they would be at the center of it. Humanity was about to stand up. The diplomatic shuttle approached the massive space station orbiting Proxima Centauri. From a distance, the Galactic Council headquarters looked like a glittering jewel against the blackness of space. Up close, it was an intimidating structure of metal and crystal, with hundreds of ships from different worlds docked along its many arms. Lieutenant Zoe Richards guided their small ship toward the human docking area, the smallest and farthest from the center of the station. "Typical," she muttered. "Even our parking spot shows how little they think of us." Ambassador Daniel Perkins stood behind her, watching the approach. He was a tall man with dark skin and calm eyes that revealed nothing of his thoughts. 20 years as Earth's chief diplomat had taught him to hide his emotions well. "It won't matter where we dock after today," he said quietly. Commander Winters checked her uniform one last time. Though this was a diplomatic mission, the presence of a high-ranking military officer sent its own message. Beside her, Dr. Kelly reviewed her data, and Captain Eric Taylor made sure his small security team was prepared. "Remember," Ambassador Perkins said to the group, "no matter what they say or do, we stay calm. We deliver our message and we leave. Nothing more." The docking process was quick and efficient. A council guide, a tall, thin being with blue skin and 4 arms, led them through winding corridors toward the main chamber. Other aliens stopped to stare as they passed. Humans rarely came to the council station, and never in such an important group. The council hall was enormous, designed to make visitors feel small and insignificant. The ceiling arched hundreds of feet overhead, decorated with scenes of Vraxian heroism throughout history. The floor was polished stone that reflected the light from crystal chandeliers. At the far end, 7 thrones sat on a raised platform, occupied by the Vraxian counselors. All 7 counselors had the same basic appearance: scaled skin, multiple eyes that moved independently, and long fingers with too many joints. But High Counselor's, the Varric, was larger than the others, his scales a deep red rather than the usual green. He watched the humans approach with obvious disdain. "Ambassador Perkins," he said, his translator making his voice sound metallic. "This is an unexpected visit. The council did not summon you." Daniel stepped forward, his posture perfect. "High Counselor, I bring a message from Earth." A ripple of whispers spread through the watching crowd. The council chamber was always open to observers from all worlds, and today it was particularly full. "Earth sends messages through proper channels," another counselor said. "This interruption is inappropriate. What I have to say cannot wait for proper channels," Daniel replied. His voice was firm but respectful. "For 20 years, Earth has been a member of the galactic community. For 20 years, we have given you our resources, our land, and our cooperation. And for 20 years, you have taken without giving in return." High Counselor Varric's eyes narrowed. "You were primitive when we found you. You should be grateful for our guidance." Commander Winters stepped forward. "Guidance? Is that what you call deliberate sabotage of our technology? Is that what you call taking our minerals while giving us broken systems in return?" Dr. Kelly activated her tablet, and a hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed the comparison between genuine Vraxian technology and the modified versions given to humans. "We have proof," she said. "Everything you've shared with us has been deliberately flawed. You've kept us dependent on you while draining our world dry." The chamber erupted in noise, some aliens shouting in support of the Vraxians, others watching in shocked silence. The counselors themselves seemed momentarily stunned by the humans' boldness. High Counselor Sveric recovered quickly. His laugh echoed through the hall, silencing everyone else. "Primitive upstarts," he said. "You understand nothing of galactic politics. Your world is nothing. Your species is nothing. You exist because we allow it." Ambassador Perkins stepped forward again, his eyes locked with the High Counselor's. "Then we will exist without your permission," he said clearly. "Earth presents you with a choice. Recognize our sovereignty and right to fair treatment, or, as of this moment, humanity withdraws from the Galactic Compact." The laughter died instantly. The hall became so quiet that Captain Taylor could hear the hum of the station's systems. No species had ever dared to threaten leaving the Compact. High Counselor Sverec's scales darkened with rage. When he spoke, his translator barely kept pace with his words. "You dare. You insignificant creatures dare to challenge us. Guards, remove these humans from the chamber. Their petition is denied." News of Earth's defiance spread quickly across the galaxy. The Vraxians, furious at being challenged, immediately labeled humans as dangerous rebels and ordered a peacekeeping fleet to the Sol system. No one in the council doubted what peacekeeping truly meant. The Vraxians intended to make an example of Earth. Admiral Garrison received the news of the approaching fleet while aboard the UES Defiance. He smiled grimly as he contacted General Wright on Earth. "They took the bait," he said. "Fleet of 30 ships approaching the outer system. They'll reach Jupiter in 2 days." "Perfect," General Wright replied. "Are they following the route we predicted?" "Exactly as planned. They think we only have the defense systems they know about." "Then it's time. Activate Operation Uprising." Throughout the Sol system, hidden human bases powered up. For years, Dr. Kelly's team had been secretly building defense platforms on the moons of Jupiter, disguising them as research stations. Now they prepared weapons the Vraxians had never seen. The Vraxian fleet moved with confidence. Their flagship, the Dominance, led the formation, a massive warship that had broken the will of a dozen worlds. Its commander, Fleet Lord Grix, saw nothing to fear in the human system. "Scans show minimal defenses," his second-in-command reported. "They have a few outdated ships guarding Earth and some basic orbital platforms, nothing that can challenge us." As expected, Grix said, "These humans need to learn the cost of defiance. Once we're past Jupiter, send the message demanding their surrender." The Vraxian fleet passed the orbit of Jupiter, their sensors showing nothing unusual about the gas giant's moons. Then suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ships. "Energy spikes on multiple moons," an officer shouted. "Unknown weapon signatures." Before Fleet Lord Grix could respond, brilliant beams of energy lanced out from Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. The quantum disruptors, developed in secret by Dr. Kelly, bypassed the Vraxian shields completely. 8 ships lost power immediately, drifting helplessly in space. "Impossible," Grix shouted. "Their technology can't be this advanced." On Europa's surface, Dr. Kelly watched through a video feed as her weapons performed even better than expected. "The disruptors work by affecting the quantum state of their power systems," she explained to the technicians around her. "Their shields are designed to stop physical attacks, not quantum manipulation." More surprises awaited the Vraxians. What looked like an ordinary asteroid suddenly changed course, revealing itself as the UES Hammer, Earth's first true battleship, disguised as a mining vessel. Captain Jason Alvarez gave the order to attack, and the ship launched missiles that the Vraxians had never seen before. "Target their flagship," Captain Alvarez ordered. "Let's show them what humanity can really do." The Vraxians tried to regroup, but they were caught completely off guard. They had expected to face primitive human technology. Instead, they faced weapons more advanced than their own. Meanwhile, across 5 human colonies in nearby star systems, Lieutenant Mason coordinated the second phase of Operation Uprising. Teams of human operatives disabled the alien monitoring equipment that had kept humanity's true military capacity hidden for years. Monitoring station on Proxima is down, a voice reported over Mason's comm. The Vraxians are blind in that sector. Good, Mason replied. Now they can't call for reinforcements. Back in the Jupiter battlefield, the Vraxian flagship Dominance was in trouble. 3 of its engines were disabled, and its weapons were failing. Captain Alvarez pressed the attack, his ship moving with a speed that shocked the alien crews. How are they doing this? Fleet Lord Grix demanded as another blast rocked his ship. Their technology was primitive just days ago. His second-in-command had no answer. The truth was becoming clear. Humans had been hiding their true capabilities all along. With a third of the Vraxian fleet disabled or destroyed, Fleet Lord Grix made a decision that no Vraxian commander had made in centuries. Retreat, he ordered. Back to Vraxian space immediately. As the Vraxian ships fled, cheers erupted on human vessels throughout the system. Admiral Garrison allowed himself a brief smile before opening a channel to Earth. Phase 1 complete, he reported. The Vraxians are running. Good, General Wright replied. But they'll be back with a bigger fleet. We need to move quickly to Phase 2. On the bridge of the UES Hammer, Captain Alvarez watched the retreating Vraxian ships. They never expected us to fight back, he said quietly. They never expected us to win. For the first time in known history, the mighty Vraxian fleet retreated in defeat. Humanity had landed the first blow, but the war was just beginning. The Galactic Council emergency chamber buzzed with angry voices. News of the Vraxian defeat had spread faster than expected, causing panic among council members who had never imagined humans could fight back effectively. High Counselor Stavarek slammed his scaled fist on the table. This rebellion must be crushed immediately. I want every available warship sent to Earth. The humans will stand alone, another counselor added. No other species would dare support such madness. But far from the Council's watchful eyes, Ambassador Daniel Perkins was proving that assumption wrong. On a small neutral trading station in the Ta Ceti system, he met secretly with representatives from 3 other species, the telepathic Norans, the cybernetic Trell, and a crystalline phase. All 3 had suffered under Vraxian rule for centuries. The Vraxians are mobilizing their entire fleet, Daniel explained to the gathered representatives. Earth fought back once, but we cannot stand against their full might alone. The Noran ambassador, a slender being with silver skin, leaned forward. Your victory has given many species hope, Ambassador, but supporting Earth openly would bring the Council's wrath upon us all. That's why we must act together, Daniel replied. Not just Earth, but all our worlds simultaneously. They cannot fight us all at once. The Trell representative, partly machine and partly organic, displayed data from internal projections. If we combine our forces and technologies, statistical models show a 62% chance of success against the Council fleet. Those aren't great odds, the Phase ambassador noted, her crystalline body reflecting the room's lights. Daniel smiled. They're better than the 0% chance we each have of surviving alone. While this meeting took place, Lieutenant Mason coordinated the most daring operation of his career. Agents on hundreds of worlds began uploading evidence of Vraxian corruption and exploitation to public information networks. The files Dr. Kelly had compiled showed clearly how the Council had systematically held back technological development of younger species while extracting their resources. On the Vraxian homeworld, ordinary citizens saw for the first time how their leaders had built their empire on the suffering of others. On Trell industrial worlds, workers learned how their labor had been exploited. Throughout the galaxy, the carefully maintained image of the Vraxians as benevolent leaders began to crumble. Back on Earth, Dr. Kelly worked tirelessly with her Trell counterpart, Engineer Vex 427, to complete a revolutionary shield technology. If successful, it would protect allied worlds from the Council's planet-killer weapons. The quantum alignment is still unstable, Samantha said, rubbing her tired eyes. If we can't perfect it before the Vraxian fleet arrives, we will succeed, Vex 427 replied, their mechanical parts whirring softly. Our combined knowledge exceeds what either of us could achieve alone. This is why the Vraxians kept us separate for so long. In a nearby laboratory, Professor William Curtis worked with translation systems, an unassuming linguist with glasses and a quiet voice. He had become unexpectedly crucial to the Alliance's success. The Council had always controlled all translation between species, subtly altering meanings to create misunderstandings and prevent true cooperation. The meaning of this Norrøn concept has been deliberately mistranslated for centuries, he explained to his team. It doesn't mean dangerous independence, as the Council told us. It means something closer to peaceful self-determination. Word by word, he was undoing centuries of Vraxian manipulation, allowing the allied species to truly understand each other for the first time. On the bridge of the UES Defiance, Admiral Garrison received reports from across the galaxy. 4 more systems have declared for the Alliance, Officer Ramos reported. The Centauri colonies, the Epsilon Mining Collective, and 2 Trell manufacturing worlds. That makes 27 systems now openly supporting us. Admiral Garrison nodded. And the Vraxian response. They've assembled the largest fleet in recorded history, 300 warships, including 5 planet killers. They'll reach our outer defenses in 3 days. The Admiral looked at the tactical display, showing the massive enemy formation approaching Earth. Send word to all Alliance forces. This is the moment everything changes. We meet them at the edge of the Sol system. As he gave the order, ships from 24 worlds were already moving to join the human fleet. The Norrøns contributed their fastest vessels. The Trell sent heavily armed battle platforms, and the Fays provided crystal ships that could absorb and redirect energy. The edge of the Sol system became the scene of the largest space battle in galactic history. The Alliance fleet, though smaller than the Vraxian Armada, had positioned itself carefully among the scattered asteroids of the Kuiper Belt. Admiral Garrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching as the enemy ships approached. All ships report ready, Admiral, Commander Winters said. The Norrøn vessels are in position on our left flank. Trell battle platforms have taken up defensive positions around our vulnerable ships. Admiral Garrison nodded. And Dr. Kelly's new shield systems. Installed on our key vessels, untested in real combat, but the simulations were promising. The Vraxian fleet appeared on their long-range sensors, a massive wall of warships stretching farther than any human had ever seen. At its center were 5 enormous vessels, each capable of destroying an entire planet. They're not holding anything back, Garrison said quietly. They mean to end this rebellion today. The Alliance forces waited silently as the enemy approached. The plan required patience. Let the Vraxians come to them. Let them enter the carefully prepared battlefield. On the Vraxian command ship, Supreme War Leader Draz surveyed the rebel fleet with contempt. Such a pitiful defense. The humans have convinced a few other lesser species to die with them. The rebels have spread their ships quite thin, Supreme Leader, his tactical officer noted. Their formation has several weak points we can exploit. Draz smiled, showing rows of pointed teeth. Then let us begin. All ships, advance and engage. The massive Vraxian fleet moved forward, their weapons charging. They expected the Alliance to retreat before their overwhelming power. They did not expect what happened next. As the first Vraxian ships entered the asteroid field, hidden explosives detonated throughout the area. The blasts weren't powerful enough to damage the warships significantly, but they filled space with debris that confused sensors and forced the Vraxian vessels to slow their advance. Now, Admiral Garrison ordered. Alliance ships surged forward from multiple directions. Norrøn vessels, nearly invisible to sensors due to their unique hulls, struck from the left. Trell battle platforms opened fire from the right. Human ships charged straight into the center of the Vraxian formation. The battle erupted with stunning violence. Energy weapons flashed across the void. Missiles exploded against shields. Fighter craft darted between the larger vessels. On the UES Hammer, Captain Alvarez led a squadron directly toward one of the Vraxian planet killers. "Focus fire on their main weapon housing," he ordered. Dr. Kelly's analysis showed that's their weakest point. The human ships dove toward the massive vessel, evading defensive fire. Their weapons, enhanced with Trell technology, punched through the Vraxian shields and struck the planet killer's main cannon just as it prepared to fire. The resulting explosion tore through the ship's bow. Meanwhile, Commander Winters led a special mission. While the main battle raged, she took a small stealth ship carrying a strike team toward the Vraxian command vessel. Their goal was not to destroy it, but to board it. Approaching docking port, the pilot, Lieutenant Richards, reported. "Their sensors haven't detected us yet." "Good," Olivia replied. "Keep us in their sensor shadow until the last moment." Captain Taylor and his security team checked their weapons one last time. They were about to attempt something no one had ever done: board the flagship of a Vraxian fleet during battle. The battle reached a critical point when the Vraxians deployed their most terrible weapons, reality cannons that could tear holes in spacetime itself. One blast from these weapons could destroy dozens of ships at once, and not even Dr. Kelly's new shields could stop them completely. Reality cannons charging on the remaining planet killers, an officer reported to Admiral Garrison. Estimated firing time: 30 seconds. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Garrison ordered, but he knew many wouldn't escape in time. Dr. Kelly, monitoring the battle from a science vessel, saw the readings and made a desperate decision. "The quantum field," she said to her Trell colleague. "We can use it to absorb the cannon's energy." "The field isn't stable," Vex 427 warned. "Any ship generating it would likely be destroyed." "Then I'll do it myself," Lieutenant Richards said over the comm. She had heard the exchange while piloting Commander Winters' team to the Vraxian flagship. "Give me the calculations." Before anyone could stop her, Richards changed course, heading directly toward the nearest reality cannon. Dr. Kelly frantically transmitted the quantum field equations to her ship. Light brighter than a star erupted as the reality cannon struck Lieutenant Richards' ship. For a moment, it seemed as if a miniature sun had been born in the midst of the battle. The quantum field activated perfectly, absorbing the terrible energies of the Vraxian weapon. On the science vessel, Dr. Kelly watched in awe as the readings spiked. "It's working," she exclaimed. "The field is redirecting the energy." The absorbed energy didn't disappear. It surged back along the reality cannon's firing path and struck the Vraxian planet killer. The massive ship shuddered as its own weapon's power was turned against it. Systems failed across the vessel, and its remaining weapons went dark. But the price was high. When the light faded, Lieutenant Richards' ship was gone. "She saved us all," Admiral Garrison said quietly. Then his voice hardened. "Make her sacrifice count. All ships, press the attack while they're vulnerable." With 2 of their planet killers disabled and the others temporarily confused by the unexpected energy feedback, the Vraxian line began to break. Alliance vessels pushed forward, targeting command ships and communication relays just as Captain Taylor had planned. Meanwhile, Commander Winters and her team had successfully boarded the Vraxian flagship. Moving silently through the massive ship, they fought their way toward the command center. "Security is lighter than expected," Captain Taylor noted as they moved through the corridors. They never imagined anyone would dare board their flagship. "Their arrogance has always been their weakness," Olivia replied. "This way." When they reached the ship's central information hub, Olivia plugged in a device developed by Dr. Kelly. It began downloading the Vraxian command files at incredible speed, bypassing security protocols as if they weren't there. 2 minutes until download complete," she reported. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "They've detected us," Taylor warned. "We need to move faster." As the data transfer continued, Olivia noticed something strange in the files flashing across her screen. "Wait, this doesn't make sense," she said. "These records go back thousands of years, but they're not Vraxian in origin. The language structure is completely different." The download completed just as Vraxian security forces converged on their position. "Time to go," Captain Taylor said, firing at the approaching guards. The team fought their way back to their shuttle, downloaded information secure. As they escaped the flagship, the battle around them had turned decisively in the Alliance's favor. 3 Vraxian planet killers were now disabled, and their fleet formation had collapsed into chaos. Supreme War Leader Draz watched in disbelief as his mighty armada was defeated by the species he had considered insignificant. "How is this possible?" he raged. "They were nothing. Primitives." His tactical officer had no answer. The unthinkable was happening. The greatest Vraxian fleet ever assembled was being forced to retreat. "All remaining ships, fall back to Vraxian space," Draz finally ordered, his pride shattered. As the Vraxian fleet limped away, cheers erupted across Alliance ships. The impossible had happened. They had won. Back on the UES Defiance, Commander Winters presented her findings to Admiral Garrison and the Alliance leaders via holographic conference. "The data we recovered is remarkable," she explained. "It proves the Vraxians aren't the original founders of the Galactic Council at all. They overthrew another species, the Architects, thousands of years ago." She displayed ancient records and star maps. The Vraxians erased most of the evidence, but they kept the Architects' most important technological secrets for themselves. All these years, they'd been using stolen knowledge to control the galaxy. Dr. Kelly studied the technical information with growing excitement. These power systems, these drive designs, they're far beyond even what the Vraxians use publicly. No wonder they were able to dominate for so long. "We need to make this public," Ambassador Perkins said. "The whole galaxy needs to know what we've discovered." Within hours, the information spread through the galactic communication networks. Council authority collapsed as more civilizations declared independence or joined the Alliance. The Vraxians, their secret history exposed, retreated to their home systems, threatening to use even more powerful weapons if pursued. On Earth, Professor Curtis worked day and night, deciphering the oldest texts from the recovered data. His hands trembled as he realized the implications of what he was reading. "Admiral," he called. "The Architects. I don't think they died out. According to these records, they foresaw the Vraxian betrayal and went into hiding. They've been waiting all this time." 1 year after the Great Battle, representatives from over 300 species gathered on Earth. Geneva had been chosen as the site for the founding of a new galactic community. The massive gathering took place in a newly built complex designed with input from all member species, allowing everyone to feel comfortable regardless of their biology or environmental needs. The main hall was filled to capacity. Humans sat alongside Norans, Trell, Fays, and dozens of other species who had only recently learned each other's true names and histories. The mood was hopeful but serious. Everyone understood the challenges ahead. Ambassador Daniel Perkins, now serving as Earth's representative to the new Galactic Assembly, approached the central podium. The room quieted as he prepared to speak. 1 year ago, humanity said stop to exploitation and domination. He began. "We did not know if anyone would stand with us. We did not know if we would survive. But we knew we could no longer accept the world as it was." He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of beings who once would have been considered enemies or strangers. What followed was not just a human victory. It was a victory for all who believe in fairness and true cooperation. Together, we have ended thousands of years of Vraxian rule. Together, we now face the challenge of building something better. Dr. Kelly stood next to him, ready to announce the technology-sharing initiative that had been her focus for the past 6 months. "The Vraxians maintained power by keeping us separate and limiting our knowledge," she explained. "Our new approach is the opposite. Every discovery, every technology will be shared openly among all member worlds. No species will be held back while others advance. The crowd responded with sounds of approval, everything from human applause to the crystalline chiming of the Fays and the harmonic humming of the Norrens. General Wright, who had overseen the peacekeeping forces protecting newly independent worlds, was about to speak next when every communication device in the hall chimed simultaneously. Outside, people looked up as a shadow passed over the building. A ship had appeared in Earth's orbit. It used no technology they recognized, moving without any visible engines, and leaving no energy signature. It simply appeared, as if stepping through a door from somewhere else. In the assembly hall, screens activated on their own, showing the mysterious vessel. It was beautiful, shaped like a perfect spiral, with a pearly surface that seemed to shift colors as it moved. Unknown vessel, Admiral Garrison transmitted from the UES Defiance, which was in orbit protecting the assembly. Identify yourself. The response came not just to the Defiance, but directly into the assembly hall, projected so all could hear. The voice was calm and melodic. We are the architects. We have been watching and waiting. The time has come to return. A stunned silence fell over the assembly. Professor Curtis, who had spent months studying the recovered texts, stepped forward with wide eyes. "It's really them," he whispered. "The original founders of galactic civilization." A soft light appeared in the center of the assembly hall, coalescing into the form of a being unlike any they had seen before. It appeared almost like flowing water given solid form, with no clear features except for gentle pulses of light that seemed to serve as its means of expression. "For millennia, we have observed from hiding," the architect said. "When the Vraxians betrayed us, we could have fought, but we chose another path. We decided to wait for a species with the right qualities to emerge, one that could unite rather than conquer." The beam turned toward the human delegation. "We saw in humanity a rare combination of traits. You are determined enough to fight when necessary, adaptable enough to form true alliances, and idealistic enough to envision a better galaxy for all. Despite your many flaws, you possess the spark that can grow into something magnificent." Ambassador Perkins found his voice. "You've been watching us all along.